Yeah. So what Derrick Lewis said in the post, he obviously brings this up, and he had been talking about the charges against Travis in his interviews leading up to the fight, but of course now he's knocked Travis out, and he says that he tells Brian Stan that he was essentially glad to beat up on Travis because Travis calls himself a man, but he puts his hands on women, he likes to put his hands on women, so forget that guy. And then he throws in, where's Ronda Rousey's fine ass at, Travis's girlfriend? She's not, I guess, in attendance. And then he doubles down on that in the post-fight press conference.
Did she ever finally make it? Do we ever know? Did she finally drive her RV all the way up there?
No. I was hoping...
what kind of drive is that?
I was hoping it was going to be like the end of Rocky, where she comes in and, Rocky is lost, but he's still excited to see her running in from the back of the arena. She's wearing a red beret that gets knocked off on the way, and then they embrace in the cage, and it didn't happen that way. Because Derrick Lewis definitely looked like an extremely out-of-shape Carl Weathers. So he could have played the Apollo Creed part.
Yeah, you were extremely out of shape. Jeez.
So we don't know about that, but he did double down in the post-fight.
Carl Weathers right now probably looks better than...
He did double down in the post-fight press conference and say that he thought the stoppage was late, and he appreciated Mario Yamasaki stopping it late because he got to beat on a woman beater a little longer, is basically what he said. So all that being said, and of course we went on our legal thought about that, but what do you think, Frank, about just the idea of being, having an adversary in the cage and using something like that against him? What do you think about Derrick's tactic there?
Well, I think Derrick is a very smart social media guy. Following him now on Instagram and the different forms of outlets that he has to be outspoken, I think he's really made a case for himself to be one of the more popular heavyweights of late. He's interesting, he's entertaining, he's funny. And so, to put it out there, look, I said that earlier at the gym today with my wife. We were sitting there talking, and, we were, something that was untrue in the world. And I told her, I'm like, yes, but you got to remember that if enough people say it, it's true. Mm-hmm. That's just the way reality is. That's just the way the world works. If enough people think it, then that's the fact.
I think we just elected a president based on that.
Pretty much.
That idea.
And so, what him using it as far as going out there, hey, it's fighting. And,
mm-hmm.
I think it's more of a lesson learned to the young fighters coming up. If you don't want to hand your opponent something to use against you, keep your nose clean. Avoid crazy boyfriends, girlfriends on either side, and just know that that how you handle yourself as an athlete is going to matter at all levels. And those kind of allegations, try to make sure you avoid people that can put you in bad, precarious situations. And I think also, too, it would have been better had Travis went back and sued his ex-girlfriend civilly. I agree with you. I think that would have been, she was upset, here I'm dating Ronda Rousey now, and, the ex-girlfriend feels spurned. What's she going to do? Go kick Ronda's ass, Well, I don't know. Maybe her boxing is good enough. I don't know.
I think you have to, though. No, you're right. I mean, I think you have to.
You got to go back. It's like if you make false accusations, mm-hmm. you just can't blow it under the carpet. Mm-hmm. If you're just the Joe Blow neighbor who's a firefighter and no one's ever going to hear about it, mm-hmm. it's one thing. But when mm-hmm. you become somebody who's of notoriety of Travis and who's mm-hmm. famous, and even more so famous because of the girlfriend he's dating, and it already made news because, Ronda made those allegations or made those statements towards Mayweather, who's done a stint in prison for domestic violence, for beating on his woman, the mother of his children. And, she used it, and guess what? It got used against her boyfriend now in this situation. So I think that Travis would have done well, and he still has the opportunity to go back and maybe go ahead and clear his name with the public by doing what you said. Mm-hmm. I would think that it would weigh that much more and go back and sue her civilly. I think the statute's limitation on slander is only a couple of years.
So as we were watching the fights, I told my girlfriend Jennifer, I said, all right, when he knocked Travis out, I said, if Mark Hunt beats Alistair Overeem, we're going to see Mark Hunt and Derrick Lewis. And
that's a good fight.
sure enough, that's the talk in the post-fight press conference. So what do you think about that?
Oh, I think Mark Hunt kills Derrick Lewis.
But as far as a matchup, I mean, that's a compelling matchup.
Yeah, no, I think
You
it's
see
a good
when
matchup.
yeah.
I think, but I mean, Mark Hunt has a granite chin, and it isn't like Derrick Lewis is going to out cardio him. And unless Derrick becomes very good at, shooting a double, even Brock Lesnar's a national champion, didn't take Mark down for his first couple attempts. So Mark's hard to take down. He hits extremely hard, and the guy's a K1 level striker. So I think it's kind of honestly, it's kind of a bad fight for Derrick. I think if Alistair's able to win, I think that might actually be a better fight, because at least I think Derrick has the puncher's chance that if he can get in and land a shot on Alistair, Alistair's been known to go down, whereas Mark Hunt, has not really been known to go down. I mean,
And you can punch Alistair over him in the gas tank. Like he's had those moments where he's going along fine, and if he runs into some adversity, it seems to really affect his gas tank and the.
Where Hunt, I think
later
was
on.
a harder fight for him.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, let's also talk then about what happened over on the Bellator side of things. I have never competed professionally in the cage. However, I have fought a kidney stone one time, and let me tell you something.
Pretty bad, right?
You have not, right?
No, I have not. Thank goodness.
Right. Well, let me just say, believe the hype. Okay, if you're one of these people that's like, oh God,
Yeah,
come
my
on.
mother had one, and she told me absolutely worse than giving birth.
That is,
She said there wasn't even a comparison. She's
Yeah.
all, giving birth was painful. She's all, until I had this. She goes, they gave me morphine, and I was still screaming.
Yes, it was. So if you don't know the story, Matt Mitrione, night before the fight, came down with a kidney stone, had to go to the hospital. And do you know that the aforementioned Chael Sonnen offered to fight Fedor Emelianenko at midnight the night before the fight? He was there. He was doing commentary. He said, "Not a problem. I'll step in. I'll do the fight." But they couldn't get. I don't know if it was a commission thing or whatever. They couldn't get it all cleared up in time. But Matt Mitrione had to go to the hospital with his kidney stone, so his anticipated fight with Fedor got called off, and it was a bummer because I was looking forward to seeing Fedor fight. But yeah, I will tell you, it's only happened to me one time, and it was so insane. Like, I didn't know what was happening to me because it makes you nauseous. And, like, I thought maybe, like, I was having a heart attack or something. Like, something was wrong with me in that sense. And go to the hospital, and I had to get the morphine as well. And, of course, as you know, I never do any drugs or alcohol or anything like that.
So you were lit.
Yes. But I
Did you enjoy it?
well, it was a relief. I mean, the thing is, it was so painful. I can't even say there was any enjoyment to it. It was just like, finally, that horrendous pain has stopped. And it has caused me to do two things. One, to appreciate real water, staying hydrated and getting real at drinkrealwater.com, our fine sponsor here on the show. But ever since that happened, I mean, it happened, goes back, it's been about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. But you drink a ton of water. Because I asked the doctor, here's the only question I had for the doctor. I said, how can I make sure this never, ever happens again? Because I eat healthy. I mean, it's not like I was doing anything that was particularly bad.
Well, we're more of a testament to the fact of what it hurt you that bad, because everybody, whether they have a heart attack or pain, that moment they're like, how can I avoid this from ever happening again? Then like 2 or 3 months later, like, man, you kind of forget, you know what I mean? Like, how people do that, they sit there and go, nah, that wasn't that bad. It's like a hangover, you have well, see, now here's something you can't relate to, but how many people, our fans can probably, or our listeners can attest this, get shit-faced drunk, you wake up the next day, you're like, what the hell did I do to myself? I'll never do that again. And they do. And we do. And I've been there too. But you're saying that this is that situation. So you've lived true to this for the last 3 years.
It changed my life because when it happened, like I said, I asked the doctor, I said, okay, how can I avoid this ever happening again? And what he said was, he goes, well, there's a lot of different things that can cause this. Sometimes it's hereditary and all this. But he said, the one thing I can tell you is we do all seem to agree that water consumption helps with this, just staying hydrated. So I took that as gospel and have always consumed a lot of water since then. But
did you drink a lot of soda and stuff before?
No, but wasn't as conscientious about drinking a lot of water. Yes, on coffee. But
not a ton. You're not a crazy coffee drinker.
no, but you know what? I also wasn't really seriously training jujitsu then. So I because now with jujitsu, like I drink a lot of water anyway
Forces
to stay
you to drink
hydrated.
water.
Right. So one kind of takes care of the other. But it was so bad that they gave me, they give you like some pain pills, and I to this day keep those with me.